In today's video, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about the closer, the decider of every winning law school application, your personal statement. Personal statements are both fun and challenging. They're fun because, they can really tip the balance in your favor. When you just need that extra boost because maybe your GPA or LSAT is below the median, that essay can close the deal in your favor. It's also challenging to make a video about personal statements because it's so personal. Without knowing where your objective numbers, your GPA and LSAT falls, as well as your life story, why you want to become a lawyer, it's difficult to put together something that benefits everybody, but I'm going to do my very best. So today's agenda is, first, we're going to talk about the problems, the common problems with how students put together their personal statements. Second, I'm going to tell you the two ingredients of a fantastic personal statement and all the details of how you make sure you deliver that in your personal statement. And finally, I will share with you my process, the process that I advise my personal clients, my personal coaching clients to undertake to put together that fantastic essay. Before we get started, if you're interested to win a free career coaching session during which we can talk to you one-on-one virtually these days about your specific application, your GPA, your LSAT, anything else we need to know, as well as the different ideas you have for your personal statement, and give you some customized advice on how to put it all together, hang out with me in this video and I will tell you how you can easily be entered into a drawing to win a customized coaching session. Also, if you haven't already done so, please do me a big favor. Please go ahead and smash the thumbs up like button and subscribe to our channel so both myself as well as YouTube knows that you appreciate our content. First up, the common issues and problems I see when I review students' personal statements or essays. I come across personal statements, of course, with our pre-law coaching clients who are applying to law school, but I also see variations of it among law students who are trying to transfer after their first year, or they actually apply. They're among the 200 plus students who apply to one of PracticePro's 1L scholarship programs. And looking at these essays and talking also to other advisors, here are the 4 problems that you should not make in your personal statement. First, the personal statement is not well written. What I mean by that is there are either spelling, grammar, syntax issues in the essay, or it just doesn't flow, doesn't follow logically. It's confusing. This is super important because writing is the number 1 skill of good lawyers, especially when lawyers have time to put together their writing, just like you do with the personal statement. They're going to make sure the work product is articulate, it is polished. So your personal statement has to be absolutely an A+ in writing. The second part is if the story doesn't flow, it's just all over the place. Now, especially if I'm on the admissions committee and your essay is not the only one I'm reading because it's not well written, I am not quite persuaded that one day you will be a good lawyer. Or maybe you can be, but among all the other choices I have, maybe I'm going to cast my vote for somebody else. The second issue I observe in law students' essays is that the essays are not strategic. It might be well written, it might even tell a powerful story, but it is not written from the standpoint of being strategic to not just strengthen what's already strong about you, but completely obliterate any concern I have about you. And by that, I don't just mean, well, I know my GPA is at the median and my LSAT is at the 25th percentile, but really truly looking at yourself. Everything, on your resume, on your academic performance, every element of this application you have from the standpoint of a trial lawyer. If I'm putting on a trial and I know in the closing I want to argue X, I'm not going to have every witness say the same thing. We just want, all the elements we need to come out so at the end we can make a persuasive call to the jury, right? So it's the same thing with your application. You don't necessarily want to repeat what's in your GPA addendum or repeat what's in your resume. What you want to do is think about, what is it about me that it's super strong that the admissions committee is going to be impressed with? Sure, I'll deliver some of those ingredients in the essay too. What is it about me that maybe is not so strong? How can I directly or indirectly rebut that? And strategic rebutting of, let's say, poor grades, if you've already talked about the facts in your GPA addendum, is not necessarily repeating those same things again. It's just by indirectly, the way you write, the way you advocate, the way you tell me the story to show me you are not your college grades, you're intelligent, you're going to make a really great lawyer. The third problem I see in applications is that they're sometimes a little stuck in the past. They focus on, especially with the overcoming of the challenges stories. It is absolutely important to set the background for where you've come from, but it will be much more powerful to focus on showcasing your passion and the lessons you've learned and who you have become and who you're going to be and how you're going to serve than being stuck too much in the past. And the fourth and final problem that I see with law school application essays is they're just boring. You want to tell your story. Whatever elements of it you're deciding to put in this 2 or 3 pages, how are you going to start that first paragraph? How are you going to close it? Am I going to just see fact, or are you going to grab my attention and then take me on a journey, on an enjoyable journey? And you can do this through a lot of different ways, especially in the process of editing your essay, by looking at it and by changing some of the vocabulary you're using from boring vocabulary to transformational and emotion-filled vocabulary. You can make your essay more exciting. Now let's talk about the 2 vital ingredients of every powerful personal statement. Your personal statement needs to have an intellectual hook and an emotional hook. The intellectual hook is simply for me as the reader of your essay to realize that you can write, you can research, you can critically think, you have all the intellectual capacities of being a good lawyer. Especially if your GPA or LSAT is on the lower range, the essay really needs to rebut any presumption that you're not going to be able to ride up to the sky with the rest of the class, right? Because sometimes I might really like you, but I might think, am I doing you a disservice by admitting you, and then during law school you won't be able to keep up with the rest of your peers. So if your credentials, your objective credentials are on the lower end, your essay absolutely needs to have a strong intellectual hook. You can serve this ingredient of intellectual hook by just simply talking intelligently about why you want to be a lawyer. And maybe there is an area of law, maybe there is a legal issue that you're really interested and passionate about. And the way you discuss it, whether it's going to be more specific about an area of law or generally why you decided to become a lawyer. Maybe you attended a courtroom hearing. Instead of just staying at the surface, go a little deeper. Let me see your critical thinking. Let me see you use the right vocabulary and the legal vocabulary so I can see your intelligence through the words you're using on that essay. The way you speak about my school and you want to be here, again, I want to see you've done your research, that you're intelligently speaking about things in a deep way and not just the surface level, so your intellectual capacities are shining through the pages. The second ingredient is the emotional hook. On a basic level, it simply means, did I enjoy reading your essay? But if you want to be advanced, did your words make me feel inspired? How did I feel after I read your essay? Was I just skimming it? Or did you grab me and pull me into your story? Now, some of my students say, Niki, I don't have that heartfelt overcoming challenges story. Well, guys, emotion is not always just, I feel bad for you. Sure, you can inspire me by your overcoming challenges stories, but you can also trigger my emotions by teaching me something new. Paint me a picture about where you're from, what it was like for you growing up, what it's like for you right now. What are you passionate about? Use the transformational vocabulary to make me excited, remind me why I'm doing this. Why am I passionate every year to do this again, read essay after essay, and admit a new class of future lawyers? It is also important how you deliver the emotional hook. As I mentioned in the problems that I see in essays, if your emotional hook is a tremendous life story, a painful life story, something you have really overcome, or challenging circumstances, take that beautiful paintbrush like an artist and paint me the scenery. Give me the true picture of what it was like to be you as quickly as you can, but move beyond the pain into inspiration. Move beyond the facts into lessons, because you want me to feel that pain, feel those challenges, but you don't want me to be stuck there for the entire essay. At the end of it, I want to feel good. Before we move on to the process of drafting your personal statement, I want to make a book recommendation. Read the book Tell to Win. It is one of my absolutely favorite books. It tells the story of powerful businesses, and famous athletes who were able to get unprecedented deals because of the story they told and how they told it. So whether you want to focus your essay on legal issues and why you want to become a certain type of lawyer, or you want to focus on telling your story and how you've used that story so far to be an advocate for different causes, and how your legal degree is going to allow you to continue that journey. Even when you're talking to me about my school and why you want to come here, your essay should have all the good elements of storytelling. So I'm going to put the link below. The book is called Tell to Win. I would read that before I put together my personal statement. Now that we've talked about what not to do and what to do to deliver an amazing personal statement, let's talk about a process. The first step in your process should be a brainstorm session or multiple ones. This should include you sitting down with, all the information you have. The law schools you want to go to, how many pages of essays do they want? Do they have supplemental essays through which we can, maybe strengthen our application as well? And then also your stories, the different angles that you can come at this. We all have multiple stories of overcoming challenges. We all have multiple reasons why we want to go to law school. So you write all of it down and you think about which one or two or three you want to include, and of course in different proportions in this 2 or 3 page essay. You should also meet at least with one mentor and run this by them. If you can't afford a career coach, it's completely understandable. Talk to somebody that you already know, maybe a college professor, somebody who really, really likes you, and run it by someone and see if they can brainstorm with you among all the available possibilities you have, where they think you should focus. And don't worry so much about it. If you end up putting it together and it's not working, you can always change. And when you're brainstorming, write this down, journal this, because we want to be able to go back to this initial brainstorm session and pull out nuggets if we need to for the essay. The second stage in your process is outline it. Your outline should include, at the minimum, attention-grabbing, powerful intro. Here's where you are going to have decided in your brainstorm session also, are we going to tell our story chronologically? Are we going to just, is it the story that ignited our passion to become a lawyer? Are we going to, despite be something that, from a work experience you just had, a few months ago, and then we're going to walk it back. But regardless of whether it's a quote or it's a scenery you paint, instead of just saying, this happened to me, paint the scenery like a good storyteller. Paint the courtroom, paint the meeting, paint the person through your words that inspired you to do this. After that attention-grabbing scenario, outline the one or two stories you want to tell. Maybe part of that is, repeating a few things from the resume that supports the theme of your essay. And next, why do you want to go to that specific school? So we want to leave like at least a half a page for that, right? Or a third of a page at the minimum. And then your strong closer. That can be one or two sentences, but we got to loop back, and we can't just like leave our reader hanging, right? So we got to loop back and somehow connect all the dots together. The next stage I call research and writing. The research part is simply if you're interested in an area of law and you want to talk about it a little bit more intellectually, you probably want to research the hot issues, what's going on in that area of law right now. Also, you must research that specific law school. You want to go there because it's a top 10, top 20 school, but besides, or maybe it's in a city you love, but we want to research their programs, what they take pride in, their culture, their alumni network, and spend some time on their website, as well as reach out to students, or attorneys who are alumni of that school or current students at that school, so we can also address those things in our essay. And then the writing part of this, of course, you just write out the essay. And my biggest tip for you in this is don't force the writing. If today you're not super inspired to write that powerful intro, focus on researching the law schools and just like churn out the more objective, quick writing of, the different programs of schools that attract you to that school, or the few things on your resume that you want to repeat because it supports the story. If today you feel like reminiscing about the past and writing about yourself, write those parts. If you just meditated or worked out and you're feeling like that artist, and you want to do your intro, do that part. But instead of sitting down and forcing to write the essay from the beginning till the end, just go to the part of outline that is consistent with your writing mood today and just write up that part. All right, guys, before I tell you the last stage of the process of drafting your winning personal statement, let me tell you how you can get a customized coaching session before I forget. All you have to do is hit the thumbs up, like this video, and put a comment below. If you have any questions about your personal statement, about the different components of your application, ask me the question below or just say hello. We have one more episode left, and then we're going to do a drawing from everybody, who has liked and commented the videos in our Winning Law School application series, and we're going to announce one or more winners soon. All right, final stage, polish it up. We brainstormed the strategy, we outlined it, we researched, and we wrote this beast. Now it's time to polish it up. You must at least, and I really want to say 7-8 times because I'm a big law lawyer, but at the very minimum, 3 times you have to edit this thing when you're done. And by done I mean you've already written it, you have reorganized the paragraphs so it flows beautifully. Now you're just going to make sure this is spelling mistake and grammar mistake free, but every sentence is as concise as it can be. we are using the strongest, most powerful noun vocabulary that we have to describe our experiences. You should print it and review it and not just look at it on the screen, just so because when we've looked at something again and again, sometimes it's just our eyes and our brain are not in sync. It happens to me all the time. So by just printing it out and looking at it at a different medium, you're going to make sure this thing is the absolute best you can produce. This is super important because now that you've spent all this time to show the reader you're intelligent and you're inspiring and you can tell a powerful story, it will be so sad to lose them by making mistakes that are totally avoidable. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. I look forward to seeing you next week for our last episode of the Winning Law School Application series. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to our channel. Until next week, stay well.